Duncan relic, no relation, and I collect relics from before the burn. Thanks to a temporal wormhole, I now have an unlimited supply of TrekCulture t-shirts, and I'm selling them to you! You could be wearing this stylish down and up t-shirt. Or, how about this fish watching design? Bright yellow on black, the colors I'd use in thumbnails, I tell you that for nothing. I plan to take these designs and transfer them via quantum duplication onto hats, mugs, and posters. So look out for those. Ah! Treat this unlimited supply as a limited time deal. Get your t-shirt quick. Who's your daddy?
Hello and welcome to TrekCulture. We have a video game video for you guys today. Yay! As you can tell, Sean is not here because he hasn't played a video game since 1996, the year I was born. Sorry, you two. I am joined today with Bree and Clive, our resident video game experts. I'm just going to make out you guys know everything there is about video games so you can feel really embarrassed.
Excellent.
I'm here because I have at least played a video game, unlike Sean, so hopefully I can guide us through this little discussion of the latest Star Trek game, Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. So you guys have played the demo, question mark?
Mm-hmm.
If you just want to let us know your initial thoughts, what was the demo like, how did you get on, etc.
I liked it. I think it's got a lot of potential. It sounds like very cliched, this, doesn't it? The graphics. One thing that is the graphics are amazing, and Voyager has never looked quite as good as it does in this. I think you go back to the 90s and the CG that you use in Voyager and the models even, it looks beautiful. I would say upgrade your graphics card because when I put mine on and I played it the first time, it looked like all the crew were in PBC uniforms. But after I realised that my graphics card was a little bit out of date, it did look a lot better after that.
Right.
Looking for a VPN? Well, we've got a great deal from Nord. Get 73% off and 3 months extra free. Just click the link in the description down below.
No, I agree. I think the graphics kind of surprised me because I'm not really sure what I was expecting. I went into the game pretty blind because I hadn't played the game that you guys said it was similar to. I'm mostly an MMO or hero shooter, first-person shooter, so I really liked it. It was my first experience with this game genre. I loved the art. I thought, like you said, the art blew me away. My graphics card always has to be up to date, so I immediately was just like, wow, this is really nice. This also, I've learned, gives me anxiety. Like, I didn't realize resource management games were going to give me that much anxiety, but I have ADHD, so I'd be like doing one thing, and then it's like, I'd be like, oh, let me explore all the planets. And then one of the quests is like, collect resources. I'm like, but I just collected all the resources. I went a little too quick. I did that thing where you do something before they give you the instructions.
You did that too. That's all right. I did that.
Yeah. So I'm like, I got a little off track, but thankfully they don't like lock you out of the story or anything if you do that. You just lose some crew.
Yeah, I lost a couple. Yeah, it's a good point. It's because you start getting into it and kind of exploring the story because the basics of it's kind of the demo is effectively Caretaker. It'll be interesting to see if when it goes into it they pick particular episodes. I think there is a Tuvix kind of link coming in somewhere they have noted in the future, and it depends what kind of interesting. We'll see what episodes they decide to kind of focus on and where they go with that. But yeah, the whole decisions thing was certainly different, and they're kind of building the ship as you're going along as well. It was definitely different from some of the other Trek games that have been out recently.
I played Civilization 5, and obviously you have also the Age of Empires games and stuff like that. So is it in that realm where it's like, you need wood, you need gold, you need food? Is it that kind of thing?
No, in a way, like in the same vein that any game requires that you have resources to do stuff. But no, this is a lot more because I played Civilization and stuff. That one's top down. You're just kind of building in one location. It's a mix between a story game where it's a choose your own adventure exploration game because, like Mass Effect, you're going like planet to planet, scanning the planets and stuff. The build comes in when you can choose the option to like go to the ship, and the ship gets cut like bisected.
Right.
And so because there's no power, you have to start by essentially repairing the ship. I think what was the game that it was referenced to? Was it Vault something?
Fallout Shelter.
Fallout Shelter, that's what it was. Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very much Fallout Shelter style, and I didn't play Fallout Shelter. I played New Vegas and 3, but yeah, I learned very quickly that resource management heightens my anxiety. I don't know why. I think it was just the stress of like, oh, I'm constantly like, but that's me. Like, I'm constantly stressing about having enough or too much or not enough, and then like, I like doing perfect runs of games. So losing crewmen, I was like, I'm about to restart this demo already. But it's so much, it's fun. It's fun as long as you're okay with a game that stresses, can give you stress, but that's fun too, like a boring game, a game that gives you no stress or no urgency. I mean, that's Animal Crossing, which is fun too, but this is fun. This is a fun game. And like you said, the graphics have kind of blown me away. One thing I'll say, and I don't know if it's permanent, is the placeholder cards. I noticed in the beginning they were like CG, full rendered placeholder cards, and then they started getting hand-drawn look. I loved the hand-drawn look, personally. Yes. I hope to God that they actually keep putting hand-drawn cards in there, because I personally liked the hand-drawn cards so much more. It felt like it gave this game character. It made it unique, standing out from like your other games graphics. That's the best way I can explain it. It felt very like personable. I do wish they could do voiceover, even if it's not the actors, just any amount of like someone with a good impression, someone who can do a good Janeway impression or a good Tuvok impression.
Yeah.
Because I will say, without voice of any kind, it did feel a little more like a phone game, like a phone game that was put on the computer, because there's zero voice acting, none, no words spoken the entire 5-hour demo that I played. And I know that's going to be the case. And I saw when I went into the comments, I saw there was a few people that felt the same way, and I was like, I mean, yeah, maybe if they could just get like even a base voiceover would be better than nothing.
It's very and without the voiceover as well, you kind of have that background music which is very quiet, and you kind of and with it being PC, and we haven't seen the PlayStation version or the Xbox version yet, so we kind of don't know what the controls are going to be like for those. But it's very, you're clicking, you're reading it, you're clicking, and you're going, well, I kind of know the story to some degree,
right?
With it being effectively caretaker as the story. But yeah, it's all about Fallout Shelter, because you've got that MSD split where you get the kind of the look through of the ship, and it is very similar to that. But with Fallout Shelter being a mobile game from memory, I think it's the one I'm thinking of. It does feel like, you're right, it kind of feels like it's a mobile game, and then they've kind of gone, let's put some extra bits into it with the choice, the decision trees and the bits that you go down there. But I did find on occasion that some of those decision trees were more kind of giving you more extra information about background than they were helping you progress the story. So you got kind of diverted to go down a particular route that really sort of told caretaker anyway, and didn't give too many variations on what we saw on screen. There was like, you could send different people on your away teams, which was great because you could pick particular skills, which reminded me a bit of Timelines if people had played that on mobile gaming. But yeah, it still kind of forced me down a particular road. So it'll be interesting to see if they do kind of vary that when they come into other episodes.
I think it's interesting about the voiceover stuff as well, because I've just started, and I've now forgotten it, I've just started playing a game, very popular game on Steam, that didn't have voiceover, and then they added voiceover into like a newer version. It's really annoying me. I can't remember what it's called. And I just avoided the game for ages, because I'm someone who, when it comes to video games, if I have to read, I get very, very annoyed, because I'm like, I want to read my books, I want to play my games, I don't want to have to read. Not everyone's like that, and I think for these types of games as well, you kind of have to get used to reading and looking at menu screens and figuring out what goes where. But yeah, I understand the want of, well, if there was a version of with voices, it would just add a little bit of something to it.
It's a bit of depth, isn't it? It's a bit of depth and a bit of that Voyager feel. I think it visually looks great. I think we all agree it visually looks fantastic.
Yes.
That voice just, and the fact that it is a lot of the information, you kind of, and because you're a fan of it as well, you sort of know what you're going to be reading on in regards to this. And that voiceover would have just given it that bit more ethos, legendary status. I think it would have just given that bit more weight to the sort of the legacy of Voyager. Not to take anything away from it, I think it's a great game to play through. I really am excited to see what they do and where they go with it.
I will be buying it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's different bits in there. And you've got your away teams. There's the space combat bit right at the end, and there's different elements to it. And then that core kind of piece which brings you back to the ship where you're building the bits in and emptying the rooms and building your crew quarters, and then you've got to remember to build morale up, because if you don't build morale up, then your crew are going to be unhappy. And then you've got another piece that comes, and again, as you say, you kind of, hang on a minute, I've got about 3 or 4 things I need to be doing, but I can't do all these because I've only got 4 cycles to do them in. And suddenly you've missed about 3 things. And it's
and that's where my anxiety was peaking, as I was like, I don't have enough time. It's like real life when I postpone too much, and then I'm like hounded by way too many things to do in like 4 cycles.
Yeah, I've got to build a cargo bay, but I can't. I haven't got the time to do that now because I've got to do this. Yes, that's all right then. I feel better because I didn't build it.
I didn't do that.
Did you have the Star Trek vibes while playing it, or did it feel like any other kind of? It did feel like Star Trek.
It felt like people who like it. It did feel like a very almost 1-for-1, like 1-for-1 if you were given a few choices. And like you said, I wish. Maybe it's the fact that Mass Effect was a key game in my life, but I like the ability to make more choices. Like I wish I had timed it. I wish I had, but the amount of time between when you start the game and you make your first decision is so long. In Mass Effect, it starts you're loading up your character and you've already made decisions. So I think it would benefit from either adding just a few more decisions or adding like an earlier decision, just to get the player understanding that decisions are, a key part of the game. Because I think it had to have been maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe even longer before you ever actually make your first decision. And I did feel like that maybe held it back a little bit. But I'm also, it's, again, we're all talking about this in the terms of it's a demo. Like it's pre-alpha demo.
Yeah.
This is so, that's what I'm saying. We're talking with all the love, because this is a game that I think could have so much potential that I could see myself playing for days, like nonstop, as long as, the progress they're making continues. Because if this is the demo, I think it's only going to get better. Like this is already really good. There's just a few things that need, a little bit of polish here and there. Like one thing I noticed was Neelix showed up as like a helper when I was making some mistakes before he ever actually showed up on the ship. If you were someone who's never played never seen Voyager, and you were like, oh, I'll play this game, someone actually said it's good, because it does tell you the story even if you've never played it. You're going to have this person who's like, oh, this is my helper character. And then they're going to show up on a ship 15 minutes later. And you're like, wait, I thought they were on the ship. And then I wrote this down because I was like, oh, they could have just had another character to fill this role. Well, they do. A few minutes later, there's the crewman in the back that's in the very beginning. I can't remember her name from like the actual original Starfleet, that she shows up after the fact. Whereas I think it might have been like I don't know if it's a coding error, but she should have been in the beginning and Neelix was in the beginning. Like, you get what I'm saying? I know it's a little bit confusing if you've never played it, but your helper character that's helping you through it is a character that hasn't even showed up in the game yet. But then when that character has shown up in the game, Neelix, the other girl is still being the helper character here and there. And it's like, no, now
it's Torres,
Neelix,
I think, isn't it? Is it Torres that's standing at the back?
It's not Torres. It's a character that looks a lot like her. But it's like a human. It's like Torres if she was just human. And someone said her name in here, like the crewman, and she might not even have a name, but she's just a one-off. Yeah, she stands in the back, and it's the first episode. But she gets like flip-flopped between like when she should be dead, she's speaking, and when she should be speaking, it's Neelix. So that's what I'm saying. There's just like little tiny like just like polish that needs to happen and the demo would be perfect. You know what I'm saying? So if this is the pre-alpha,
yeah,
I only have the greatest hopes, because my complaints are little things like that. There was nothing I ran into that was game breaking. There was nothing that I ran into that was like, oh, you know, this right here could destroy someone's playthrough or anything like that. All my complaints are like, oh, if they just polished a little bit here, it'd be better, or a little bit there. So I think it's on track really well.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like you get them in a lot of Sonic games do this for some reason, where it's like it's almost like they put the tutorial level later on in the game, so you're playing the game.
It felt like that.
And the tutorial.
You got quite a way through, and then suddenly it went, we're going to drop all these tutorials on you now. And you're going, hang on a minute, these should have been 5 minutes ago, when I kind of, not necessarily needed, but they would have been a good lead in. Especially with the one I kind of think of is the space combat one. When I like the way they've done the combat piece. I really like the way that you get each character has their own particular maneuver. Again, felt very Star Trek timelines in the way that they built that each person has a particular skill and ability, and you can put them in the ship in particular areas, very timelines as the original idea was. But it was, you kind of try to do the combat piece, and suddenly you're getting all these tutorials that are coming up, and you're going, well, hang on a minute, you paused it now. I could have done with this a minute ago to tell me what I was going to do. And then I'm stilted through this quite nice little combat piece where I'm kind of using the maneuvers and the different abilities. And I wanted it just to be fluid. Yeah. But again, as you said, we are so far from the finished kind of product, and it was very evident that there were kind of bits that were missing, and that there'll be bits that will definitely come later. But to see it and them to be quite willing to put a demo out at this point is amazing to do, and then very not easy a risk, possibly. But it goes, you're going to hopefully see that they are going to advance quite far with the way that the demo comes on to be the full game, and we see the whole end result. And maybe, we're saying about, this being caretaker, maybe they are going to go down an episodic route and do, we know the 2 thing, I've mentioned it already, but are they going to do offshoots and do new stories and new lines? Again, we really don't know anything on that line at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it's a great first impression of something that really can hopefully bring some life in, and think about the expansion possibilities. There's so many from the start. There's so many options that you build on packs and build extra bits in. And I loved on the MSD that they had the aero shuttle in the hangar, and when you drop down, it was a nice 3D image through. Little things like that. It was just beautiful to see.
The thing about voiceover is, like, you can still get away with doing little to no voiceover. A great example is Final Fantasy XIV. They use very sparse voiceover. It happens during cutscenes. All the rest of it you read. And it took me a long time to get used to that, where you're reading. It's basically like a visual novel is what people would call it. But broken up in that are cutscenes where there is full voice acting. If this all this might need is something like that, where instead of full voiceover, you have like intro narration, and then like a major event happens, like them having an interaction with the Kazon or something, and there's just like a few second conversation. That's all it needs to give it just enough of that flavor to avoid like the walls of text that we were talking about.
But would you drop that in as over the top of graphics, or would you? How would you get that in as well? Because I think of the style of it at the moment with the hand drawn images and things like that. It flows really. It's just, yeah, you're right. It's how do you get that in right? Perhaps. And
I think a good way to do that would be, instead of full cutscenes like they do, is in moments where, like, yeah, you make a decision, perhaps, like where you get like, oh, this is where that screen pops up, and you get like your decision points, or like where, like, who you can pick to increase your skills, things like that, where it's just like, you can tell this moment has some kind of impact, have some kind of like voiceover in that lead up or something. Whereas all the filler stuff and like, oh, hey, our thing's down, or oh, we need more resources, or oh, this and that, like none of that really needs to be voiceovered. Just like the intro sequence, that would have been perfect for voiceover, where the ship is coming in, nothing would need to change, none of that. But having someone like do a Janeway voice just in that intro would be enough to hold it over all the way up until like your first decision 20 minutes later, you know, and just read the text in between. Because I think Final Fantasy, as much as people complain it's a hell of a lot of reading, they do it right. Like you get used to the reading after a while because you know there's going to be a treat of a voice here and there.
Or if you want to do it cheaply, you do like a Banjo and Kazooie and just get everyone to go when they speak. I think that would work great.
You could do that kind of thing. I don't know if not sure.
So
just do the Charlie Brown womp 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 womp.
To end off, big recommendation from you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big
I think I think you've got to go and play the demo. Totally.
I wouldn't be tearing it apart this much if I didn't think it had an extreme chance at being a really great game. Like the only reason, like if I thought it was a crappy game, I'd be like, I don't know, it was fine. Like it's probably not going to go anywhere. You know, I talk a lot and criticize games that I love a lot because I feel like that's the best way to like look at something and improve it. So I could not recommend this game enough. I made my fiance play the demo too, and he loved it. So I 10 out of 10 recommend.
I'm the same with my friends will be like, oh, read this book, and we'll both love the book, and I'll reply being like, love the book. Now let me tell you about the one thing I hated it.
Yeah.
But yes, so there you go, guys. Pick up the demo, and if, you know, once the game's out and you guys enjoyed this kind of conversation, maybe we'll come back and discuss the game as a whole, see where it went, see if they improved on certain things, see if the demo and the full game are different, or if those glitches or those strange things still exist. Who knows? But until then, thank you guys for listening. You can subscribe if you'd like to, and you can hit that like button and all that kind of stuff. Follow us along on all our social medias. I'm on Twitter, etc. Tom C. Finn, Tom Roberts Finn, TC Roberts Finn, etc., etc. Clive, Bree, where can they find you guys? Clive.
I frequent Facebook. My page is some kind of Star Trek. I sometimes go on Twitter at Scost. Otherwise, I'm on Facebook as me. There you go.
Cool. Bree.
And What Culture, obviously. And Trek.
Yes.
I'm just on Blue Sky and Instagram. Trekkie Bree.
Lovely. Oh, and I have books as well. Go read them if you like. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.